And action! Welcome to episode 12 of the Action Podcast. Today, well, with me, of course, is my brother, Peter Escarcega.
Hi.
I'm Paul Escarcega. And today we'll be reviewing Thor, Love and Thunder. I got it right, finally, after 17 takes of me doing other videos where I keep calling it God of Thunder.
God of Thunder and War.
Yeah. So we'll be reviewing Thor, Love and Thunder. We'll be ranking the Thors for you so you can kind of figure out where this Thor is in compared to the other ones. We'll also be ranking the Phase 4 Marvel films so you can also get a gauge as well with that. We'll be doing the top 5 Christian Bale movies since he is the villain in this film. We want to give a shout out.
That was tough.
It was tough. It was tougher than I thought. There's definitely some.
Yeah, that was a tough list to do.
Yeah. We'll be reviewing a smaller film, a Western called Murder at Yellowstone City, which I paid $15 for. So holler at me for that. And then we'll doing our Yippee-Ki-Yay or Ugh as if segment.
Oh my God, as if.
We got a few films under that. And then we'll also be telling you the upcoming films that are on the docket for the rest of July and first week of August. So, Pete, let's get right into it. Thor, Love and Thunder. What are your thoughts?
Love and Thunder. This was by far my favorite Thor movie.
Spoiler on your list here.
Spoiler on my list. This is number one for sure. It was the funniest movie that I've seen in a while, especially in the MCU universe. It was hilarious, and I know it got only like a 7 out of 10 on IMDb on IMDb. It got 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, I don't understand that at all. This movie was so funny, and I thought it played out really well. I thought all the characters were really well done, and I thought the story flowed really well. And yeah. I was just really, really pleasantly sort of reinvigorated about Thor, because he was other than like Doctor Strange, who I just don't really care a lot about. Thor was becoming one of those sort of MCU characters where it's like, if he's not attached to another film, I'm not that interested in a standalone film, because I don't know, there's something about his movies. But this one was so good. This gets a Peter score of 90%.
Wow, that's big. I don't think anybody's.
I just loved it.
Score, yeah.
I enjoyed every moment of it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. It is by far the funniest film, and I would go so far I would call this an actual comedy. It's that packed with humor and jokes. I mean, every scene there's multiple jokes and lines. I mean, it's funnier than many comedies that you see. It's just it does such a great job with the jokes. You have one of them there in your background, with the goat, with these goats or whatever. I forget what the actual creatures there are, but
peppered throughout the movie, just these screams from these goats, and perfectly timed. Like, it could get really annoying if not done properly. But
yeah, they started to taper them down smartly, because again, the joke can kill itself, but they did a great job with that. And then even just the whole relationship with Thor and his weapons, again, it's just brilliantly written with that. I also think this is the best Thor. Spoiler alert on my list as well. I had one slightly small issue, and I just thought the ending wasn't amazing, but it still is a good ending, and it's a good film. A great film. I think it's a great film, actually. Super entertaining. I'm going to watch it again for sure. Just because I want to see the jokes slam. And there's a lot of like little story points too that I kind of want to see as well. But I highly recommend seeing it. And like I said, it's just a super, super funny film for me.
Super great. It was, of course, directed by Taika Waititi, who did the Ragnarok movie, which almost felt like a revamp of the Thor franchise. And he has a very particular style and vision with projects that he sort of gets signed on to. And I was really happy about the Ragnarok movie. It wasn't this movie though. That's the thing. It was almost like Ragnarok was like him trying to like test the waters and try to figure out,
Yeah.
how am I going to be a part of this universe? But then, this
Took it to another
movie,
level.
Love and Thunder, like he just elevated things in such a way. And I just read that they're about to start a new Star Wars movie in
Yeah.
2023 that he's attached to, and
Yeah.
I'm even more excited about seeing that next iteration of Star Wars because he's attached, because he's a he's an incredible vision, and all of the stuff that he's been working on recently, there's been not only that element of comedy, but I mean the story structure itself is always really played out really well.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you that like Chris Hemsworth he's always been a very comical character as Thor. Like he's had his moments, but he really stepped up his comedy game, which is really hard to do in terms of acting. But I thought he was so funny in this movie. Like he was hilarious. Like you were saying, that relationship between the two, the hammer and his new hammer, and that whole like sort of like side, that little side story that was going on, was hilarious, and he really really did a well done.
Yeah.
Yay,
Yeah.
Chris.
And also what I liked about what Tiki did as well with the music selection with this. I mean, you probably have an idea of it slightly with the trailers, but the music is peppered with a lot of great Guns N' Roses songs. But then there's some other kind of '80s rock, classic rock type of music. Is Guns N' Roses considered classic rock at this point? I don't.
At this point, yeah, it's definitely classic rock, but
Um,
it reignited my love for that. I mean, because I grew up in that time period, and Guns N' Roses was huge growing up.
yeah.
But then it sort of tapered off because there's only so many times you can hear Paradise City or Sweet Child
Yeah.
of Mine, and get excited about it. But the way that they use Guns N' Roses throughout this film, I heard it on the radio after. It was yesterday, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact. I heard Sweet Child of Mine or something, and I was like, yes, I'm pumped for this song. And I was listening to it and I was rocking out, and it's all thanks to this film.
Yeah. So quick question for you. So Sweet Child of Mine is used in this film, right? Trivia: what other major film was that in the last 15
Child of
years?
Mine? I don't know.
There's a famous scene that it's in.
I don't know. What is it?
Step Brothers, when they're all singing in the car.
Yes.
Yeah, we watched it. We watched it yesterday, and that scene was on.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in forever. So
Yeah.
you really set
Wow!
me up for
Wow!
failure on that
Wow!
one.
Yeah, it's such a good.
Oh, wow.
But I would say Step Brothers still has a better use of that song than this film, only just because that scene with Adam Scott and his family is just so good, and him yelling at
Now,
Catherine Hahn.
yeah. Now, so going through the cast, obviously, I've told you what I thought of Chris Hemsworth and his approach to Thor in this film, which was hilarious. I thought Tessa Thompson was remarkable. Spoiler, if you haven't seen it yet, just understand. Just fast forward about 5 minutes, because I thought that,
Well, this whole thing is a spoiler alert, so hopefully you're not watching this if you haven't seen the movie yet.
right. But we're also trying to let people know, should you go and see this movie? And the answer is
Right.
yes. Go and see this movie. Now, skip ahead 3 or 4 minutes so you don't get ruined by the ending. Christian Bale as a villain is, I mean, he's always phenomenal. I mean, this is a guy
Thor the
that,
God Butcher.
yeah, this is a guy that just gets immersed into a role, and takes it very seriously, and so he's going to crush every time. And as much as his performance was amazing, I did like how they sort of solved the sort of overall, like his ultimate thing was like he was really just devastated by his daughter and angry about it and became a bad guy, but then was able to sort of redeem himself in a way at the end.
Yeah.
I liked that aspect of it. But then Russell Crowe, he was sort of brought on as Zeus. He plays Zeus in this film,
Right.
and he was very comical as well.
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of like, I didn't know what they were going to do with it until the extra scenes sort of happened, and then sort of set up this
Yeah.
sort of Zeus is now going to be involved in Thor 5
And
whenever that comes
Hercules.
out.
Yeah. And Hercules.
Or yeah, Hercules. And so it's really interesting. I love that MCU does this, where they give you a film, and then you watch the credits, they're doing the action credits, and then they pop something in there and you're like, that's interesting. And then if you have the patience to wait until the very end, then they give you something else where you're like, oh my God, that's going to be amazing. And now Russell Crowe's attached to the MCU. They always seem to have this ability to bring in like more and more characters, and amazing actors to come in and even take lesser roles.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
I mean, Brett Goldstein
Brilliant.
of Ted Lasso fame is Hercules, playing Hercules. So there's a good chance, obviously, that'll be a character moving forward. And we didn't even talk about like the probably one of the best parts of this entire film was Matt Damon's cameo. So he did a small cameo in Thor Ragnarok, but they didn't. It was just a small part and didn't really like wasn't a really like impactful role. It was just kind of like, oh hey, it's Matt Damon. But this one,
they screen time of like 1 minute maybe.
Yeah. But this one, he actually had
funny.
several jokes. Yeah, this one he actually had several jokes, and he just makes fun of like the pure theater actor, and it's so awesome. He did such a funny job with this, and I would even go so far to say just one of the best cameos I've ever seen in a film. I mean, it's so.
He plays Loki, right?
Yeah, he plays Loki. He plays the theater actor Loki
in the theater. So funny, and this is why. And I know we've done our top 5 of Matt Damon before, and I might alter mine to put this in there just because I don't know. I really respect a guy that will take on a role that is like a minute screen time, but is so funny, but he puts so much heart into it. Like I felt like he was really that character trying to pretend to be Loki. And then that scene where they're like, we have an idea for like the next thing, for this next thing.
Yeah.
We're going to work on it. We're going to get things going.
Yeah.
So funny.
So good.
Kudos to Matt Damon for doing something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's move forward to go ahead and rank the Thors. You've seen them all now. So why don't you go ahead and give me your listing of the Thors so our audience knows where to put them.
Yes. Well, I mean, Love and Thunder is number one for sure. I wasn't always a huge Thor movies by himself fan as much as some of the other characters, but this one for sure is number one. I put the original Thor as number 2 because it gave us a lot of that origin story that we needed. Ragnarok is third because that was, Taiki's first attempt, and it was explosive and it was colorful and it was funny and it was good, but it wasn't as good as Love and Thunder. Yeah. And then the last one is Thor 2 because I don't know, that one just seemed, I don't know, I didn't like the villains. I didn't like the.
Yeah, I'm never a big fan of all the super outer space stuff, and this one was just definitely ventured further into it, but kind of like you're saying, it was very okay, Hall of okay. Didn't move the needle for me really.
It served a purpose, but it didn't add a lot.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, but didn't like. I mean, I never saw it actually, so I saw the rest of the entire, MCUs. This was the only Thor 2 was the only one I did not see when it came out.
Right.
I just literally just saw it, but it's okay. Nothing write home about. So we have the same exact list. So Love and Thunder, the original Thor, Ragnarok, and then Thor 2. So awesome.
We both win the list, Paul.
Yeah, we both win the list, and then we'll also rank the Phase 4 Marvel films. So I will give mine since you are not fully have seen all of them yet, and then
Yeah.
if you can just kind of maybe put it on the ones that you have seen once I do mine. So there have been 6 films. We're not including the series of that have happened. I'm not including the series of Phase 4, just the films. And so
Mhm.
my number 6 film would be Eternals. That one,
Top six.
yeah. I mean, that you're talking about a movie that did not move the needle for me. I thought they just tried to do way too much.
Mm.
Um, that it kind of like took away from it. It was just too expansive, maybe of a film, and maybe it should have been a series instead of a movie. I'm not sure. I just thought it was very, again, kind of the same thing as like Thor 2, very okay, um, and didn't do anything for me.
Right.
Number 5, and I actually like this film, but it's just I don't think it's better than the other ones. Is the Shang-Chi and the Rings. Um,
Yeah, I can't wait to
actually,
see that film.
I really like that one. I thought the martial arts aspect of that film was excellent. The fight scenes were actually pretty new and innovative, and I enjoyed that film. It was funny as well. It's just not as good as these other ones. Number 4 would be Black Widow, which it's Phase 4, but it's kind of different. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I've always loved the Black Widow character. It's kind of actually a prequel in between Civil War and Infinity War. I mean, I really enjoyed that one.
I can't wait to see it because I love origin stories, which is why like
Yeah.
the first Thor, the first Doctor Strange, the first Captain Marvel. I mean, those are the first Iron Man. Like those are the
Yeah.
ones that I love the most, almost
Oh,
because
it's not an origin story. It's not an origin story.
Oh,
No, it takes place in
there
between.
you go.
It takes place in between Civil War and Infinity War. So it's just kind of it fits a different timeline. My number 3 is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And
Right.
my number 2 is going to be Thor: Love and Thunder. Again, coming in hot. And then number 1, of course, which is Spider-Man: No Way Home. I mean, that movie was just. I mean, that's one of the best Marvel films. Period. Um,
Yeah,
so that is my list.
I would agree. I would put Thor number 2 and Doctor Strange number 3 and Spider-Man number 1, which I'm slated to watch very soon. But from what I've heard about it, you can't not have that as number 1 for Phase 4 so far.
Yep.
But there's no way that Doctor Strange in the multiverse comes close to Love and Thunder. I mean,
No,
that's
no,
the
I would agree.
there's such a gap there. I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree.
I was so disappointed by the multiverse Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, I like. I super enjoyed it, but kind of. I think there was just more that could have been done with it. I mean, they just set themselves up for such amazing concept, and it didn't quite hit 100%, but mid 80s. I would in terms of like pure execution. But and with that, Pete, that leads us to our first list, which is the top 5 Christian Bale movies. And yeah, like you mentioned before, this was a little bit more difficult of a process than I anticipated. Um,
Yeah, this was a challenge for sure.
yeah, like, but I like my list, and I think I'm going to introduce some a film or two for people that have not seen some stuff. So hopefully, we'll do
But
it.
why don't you go first then?
All right. Let me tell you, I like my list. I mean, this is a Hall of Fame list in terms of for an actor's resume. Like, I'm not even lying to you. Um, all these movies are literally like top of the line. So my
Hmm.
number 5 is Ford versus Ferrari, and it's amazing that that's number 5 because that is such a good film. Him and Matt Damon crush it in that film, and a super entertaining film. I mean, I want to watch that again actually now that I say it out loud. Um,
I know I hated leaving it off of my list.
yeah, that's why you lost already. Uh,
That's why you're done.
You probably have Newsies on your list.
Yeah, Newsy is number 5.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Number 4 is, of course, The Big Short. An excellent, excellent film,
Wow.
and he's a different character in that. Michael Burry, right? Is that his name? Michael Burry.
Yeah, the guy that tells us when things are going to blow up in our face.
Yeah. That is my number 4. Love that film. My number 3, and this is sneaky independent film here, but Hostiles, a western uh, with I believe Scott Cooper is the director of that one, but it is so good. Have you seen that movie?
No, I've
Oh
never
my,
even heard of it.
Hostiles is so good. We have
Oh no, Hostiles. I saw it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's a
yeah,
western.
fine. It was fine.
Really good, but his character is excellent in that. But I love the
Three.
music. I love the music in that. Again, kind of a very good character piece as well. Good
That's a
story.
5 at best, dude. You just lost the list.
No, stop it. Hostiles is so good, and a lot of people agree with me. My number 2 is kind of the no-brainer. I think 1 and 2 are just no-brainers. But 310 to Yuma is number 2. Again, another great western with Russell Crowe. Such a great western. Definitely one of the best modern westerns that have come out in the last 20 or 30 years. And then number 1 is a no-brainer. It's The Dark Knight. And you can obviously slash that with Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, but the Batman Christopher Nolan trilogy, of course, is number 1 for Christian Bale. He crushed that iteration. I actually like him. He's probably one of the better Bruce Waynes. Didn't necessarily love him as much as Batman, but loved his Bruce Wayne probably the
This
most.
one is great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my
Wow.
perfect list.
It's not bad, Paul. It's a pretty good list, but you have forgotten 2 of his most iconic roles.
I haven't seen
And
those. I already know what I haven't seen those movies, which probably didn't
number
help.
5 wasn't a great movie, but what he did for this role is The Machinist. He
Yeah,
lost
I haven't seen that.
60 pounds. And after this film, he almost made like a conscious decision to not do this to his body anymore. Like this guy, like Christian Bale is one of these actors that is so involved and dedicated to his craft that it's almost a detriment to his health. And
Well, and there's the classic clip of him yelling at like the cinematographer.
oh yeah, like he's
Dude,
so
yeah,
serious about it, which you know might be tough to work with, but I respect it. I mean, anybody who's
yeah,
that involved and that passionate about what they're doing deserves a lot of praise in a way.
yeah,
The Machinist is number 5. It's one of his best roles.
yeah. I
It's
haven't
not one
seen
of his
that.
best
I haven't seen that one. I
films.
need to watch that, which is obviously why I didn't make it. And I know the other one you're gonna say.
It's
I haven't seen that one either.
it's a tough watch. It's a tough watch, but it's good to see what he did to himself in order to do this role. I put number 4, 310 to Yuma, um,
A little low, a little
because I
low.
can't I can't put it any higher than the other 3 movies that I have. 310 to Yuma is phenomenal, and he's great in it. Russell Crowe is great in it. It's just a great film. It's one of my favorite westerns of all time. Uh, Number 3 is American Hustle. I mean, that one, like how he transformed himself into this character was
Oh, see, I thought you were
really
gonna include the Prestige. I thought that was gonna be your number 3.
no. Prestige is on my honorable mention list.
Yeah, I haven't
American
seen it.
Hustle
I
is
know he's
great.
great in it, but that's the movie I hadn't seen. American Hustle. You know what? Like, I agree with you. He's a great role in that. I believe he even got nominated for it. I just I don't love that film. Just it's a good
He
film,
was
but
great.
not my favorite. I felt like the very beginning of the film is awesome, and then I felt like towards the latter part it just kind of waned a little
Yeah,
bit.
but what he did,
It's no
his
Hostiles.
character, like what his character did throughout that thing, and how he was able to sort of encapsulate what
Sure,
that
it's just
character
no
was going
Hostiles.
through, he was incredible. So that's my number 3. Number 2, shame on you. American Psycho is one of
Oh, for
his
sure. I gotta watch that
best
again. I've only seen it.
movies, dude. Christian Bale in this movie is
He's excellent.
he's so intense, and remember we talked in the last episode or 2 ago about how Steve Carell in The Office just makes you really feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But Christian Bale in American Psycho, when he's in his normal life, you feel so uncomfortable. But then
Yeah.
he breaks out into this massively like sadistic, violent mass murderer, and he kills it. It should have been my number one, but you can't not put Dark Knight as number one, which is
Yeah.
obviously the number one. Dark Knight, American Psycho is
Yeah.
one and two.
I
You
haven't
just
seen
lost
American.
the list.
I haven't seen American Psycho in probably 20 or 30 years, so it's just
Go
not
go
fresh in my
watch
mind.
it again, and you'll revise your
No, I know
list.
he's great in it. I'm not. I'm ranking these more on my watchability versus like their performance. So I'm not ranking the performance because I agree. I mean, Americans performance wise, Dark Knight wouldn't even be number one. You know what I mean? If we're talking about pure acting, I would agree with you. American Psycho or the Big Short, or maybe or The Machinist would be one of his top actual role of acting. I'm just talking about the movie with him in it, overall.
And
Um,
Prestige, let's not get it. Let's get it right. I mean, the Prestige was amazing. The Fighter, he was really
yeah,
good in.
Fire
The
was really
Big
good. Yeah,
Short, Vice, he was incredible in. I
yeah,
mean, every role that this guy takes on, it's going to be a home run. I just think that Dark Knight is the best because not only like his performance, but like the way the movies were done, you can't do better
yeah,
than The Dark Knight in terms of writing and producing a film.
yeah, yeah.
But American Psycho is his number one like role. So
Iconic,
you
yeah,
can't.
for sure. I think that's his most iconic role. I would say. Like I said,
So
it's
good.
just not that fresh in my memory. I haven't seen it that many times, so it's not. That's why it wasn't on my list. But I
So
totally
great.
respect it being on the list. Yeah, for sure.
Go
Okay,
see
cool.
it. I mean, I highly recommend it because I mean, it's not an easy watch.
No,
It's
no, no. I
tough
know, I
because
know.
it's uneasy, but
Yeah,
it's such a good film. Great film.
yeah, for sure. Awesome. So we have two other films that we're gonna review. I'm gonna do. Did you see Rise or no?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna do Murder at Yellowstone City real quick. So again, like I mentioned, this is a western. That it's kind of like a murder mystery in the Wild West. But this is definitely a west like a genre western film. This is not like 310 Yuma level in terms of A level western. But I
It's not
thought I
Young
thought
Guns 2.
no, no, no. Like I said, this is not an A level in terms of production and all that stuff. But I thought the film moves pretty well. Not a perfect story, but was still interesting, and had some twists and turns that kept it interesting. The action is actually pretty solid too. Um, I don't think by any stretch it's a perfect film, but if you're a Western fan, I think it's entertaining enough to watch it. Um, I don't think this, like I said, if you're not a huge fan of westerns, I don't think the film will necessarily hold up. But I love watching westerns. I don't need every western to be Tombstone or Young Guns 2, all that level. But this movie I thought moved pretty well. I actually liked it more than Power of the Dog. I know Power of the Dog was such critically acclaimed and all that, but Power of Dog is absolutely a slow paced film with literally zero action in it. And when you're talking about who your audience is for a Western, it's typically your 18 to 55 year
35.
old male, And so I think this film adheres to that demographic more. The Power of the Dog's demographic was pretty much, you know, very
60 plus.
60 plus or female, really. Um,
Yeah, I mean, Murder at Yellowstone City, which is on Amazon Prime, you can see it there. I mean, it was, if you are a Western fan, I will agree that, I mean, because, Westerns are one of those genres where you can just watch. I'm so fascinated by Western movies. Like you could just tell a very simple story
yeah.
without a lot of action in it. And I would be quite satisfied because I'm fascinated by the time period, like how people lived, the way that the law worked,
Yeah.
and the way that you resolved your issues with people. Like I'm gonna go shoot you or you shoot me first. Like
Yeah.
there's a very romanticized approach to how you view Western movies.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, I appreciate what you're saying about this film, and Western fans should adhere to what it is that you're saying. I wasn't quite as impressed with it. I thought it was really slow, to the point where, like, I already knew what the outcome was, and I won't reveal it, but I mean, I knew what the outcome was.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Just in
don't
the
think
first
it's
5 minutes of the movie, it was less of a murder mystery for me, as in, when are you going to finally tell me what I already know? You know
yeah.
what I mean? And so I don't know. It just, in terms of a movie, as much as I love the genre and I love the actors in it, like, I mean, Gabriel Byrne is incredible. Richard Dreyfuss is a legend.
Yeah.
Um, Even Nat Wolff, who was in, he was in Hereditary, and he was in that old movie with M. Night Shyamalan, and he's a great actor. He kills. He
Yeah.
crushes every time. Great actors, great performances, but overall, it just wasn't for me.
Sure. Sure. That's very, very fair. Um, yeah, I definitely want to watch it again. I don't think I agree with you. The writing wasn't next level. I think it could have gone further exploration and I think made it tougher. I think that's usually the best word. Because that's even for us as we write. That was some of the best advice I've ever got is some like you don't want to be in the middle with a lot of stuff. You want to go hard left or hard right,
Mm.
and I think the writing in this that's probably where it needed to be punched up a little bit more. It needed to go a little bit harder and made it more difficult for these characters so that you're left guessing more. I think that's definitely where it could have improved. But like I said, I think it's worth watching if you're a Western genre guy. But again,
It's worth a view. Sure.
I think, like I said, I thought it was entertaining. It entertained me, but I don't think it's for everybody. So I'll leave it at that. The next film, Rise, is the story of Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I know I nailed the pronunciation of that one. And
Beautiful.
this one's on Disney Plus, and so this is a classic Disney sports film. And what do I mean by that? Disney has a trademark and a brand that's family friendly, that's gonna have good themes to it. And I obviously I know who he is. I didn't know his full story, but I did enjoy watching it. I thought the basketball was actually pretty solid. That can always be a hindrance to a film. He was an executive producer on it, and I thought they did a very good job with the basketball. The actor that plays him it's fantastic and a very good athlete.
Yeah.
He played the part in terms of he looked like a legitimate basketball player, and they did not cover up an actor's deficiencies in basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball's the hardest
The
sport to film.
obvious flaws of a
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Basketball's probably the hardest to film because you can't fake basketball, and basketball's also like the hardest sport to like learn because learning how to dribble is not necessarily the most natural thing in the world. You know,
No.
so much respect to all the actors in this. They knew how to play basketball, and I'll tell you what, I even got a little emotional at the end.
Hmm.
It was really, really well done. Again, great family film. So this is one you can watch with the kids, and especially if you love sports, basketball, and Giannis, NBA. I think it's a super, super entertaining film. Surprised me. I did not expect it to be as well done as it was, but you know,
What's the Paul score on this one?
well, I have to handicap it with it's a Disney film. I like obviously prefer films to be a little more, to add a little more darkness to them, to make them overall a complete film. But again, with the onus that it's a Disney film and a family film, I think it's in the 80s, high 80s. Like I
Wow.
said, just because I like basketball, I
That's
like
pretty
basketball
high
like
praise.
Giannis, and it was cool kind of seeing what his journey was, and
I mean, he's
uh,
definitely top five. So to understand like where he came from and what he had to go through to get to where he is as one of the
yeah.
elite players in the NBA.
Well, and
Maybe I'll
just for
watch
him to
that
win the
tonight.
championship too, I don't think this film's that would be as good if he didn't win the championship.
Right.
But honestly, like the last 15 minutes of the film is just incredible in terms of you just see everything that him and his family went through, and then
Right.
again, like you can't write him winning a championship. Like that's just it'd be too obvious if it wasn't true. You know what I mean? And
Well, it was
it
true.
is it is a true story, which makes it again. That's what I think makes this film so great. Is that culmination of a championship? So,
Sure.
but yeah, recommend that. Again, it's on Disney Plus, so if you already have it, I don't see why you wouldn't want to watch that. And that, Pete, will lead us into our second list, which is the top 5 best basketball movies of all time.
Yes. Yes.
And I have some good honorable mentions. You can go ahead and start with this one. But this list was actually tougher than I thought. I even changed my order a couple times because
It- yeah, this list was interesting because there's, I don't have a lot of experience with basketball movies. I know there's a ton out there that are like really good, but I've never seen them before. So here's my top 5 of the basketball movies that I've seen that yeah, I'm actually going to make this list not about basketball at all. I'm just kidding.
yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Number 5 for me is The Basketball Diaries.
Nice.
There's basketball in it, and this was the first time that we got to see Leonardo DiCaprio and Mark Wahlberg, I think, in like a really just a fucked up movie. It's really, really a difficult watch because it deals with a lot of drug abuse and
I haven't seen it actually.
Sexual abuse and very difficult upbringing. But Leonardo DiCaprio plays an amazing character, like a real life character. It's based on a true story. And he's a part of the basketball team, but then doesn't end up on the basketball team. But it's a really good watch if you're in the mood for depression and sadness.
Who's not?
So, yeah. And then number 4 for me is White Men Can't Jump. That was pivotal in my growing up. Being a white guy who played on a basketball team with mostly black guys. I don't know. I always felt like the one white guy, but I was never like really that good. So I couldn't be like the Woody Harrelson, but I always aspired to be this person. And it was really well done. Very funny, very in tune to the time period and the culture that was going on at this time. I thought it was really well done. Number 3 is Hoosiers, because it was a classic movie. And what can you say about Hoosiers? Great film.
Yeah.
Number 2 might be a stunner for a lot of people out there, but it's Teen Wolf.
Nice.
Teen Wolf was one of the best, like
when
at the very end,
in the end.
He's got to shoot that free throw at the very end, but he's not the wolf. He's just himself, and what he had to do to make that free throw. That's number 2.
For sure.
One of the best movies ever. And anytime you have a chance to roof ride on a car, is money.
Yeah. Styles.
Number 1 for me is Hustle. Hustle. We talked about it before in previous things. I think it's the best basketball movie I've ever seen. I think the performances, not only by Adam Sandler, he should get awards for it. And I think that the everybody in the cast, because they were actual basketball players and not actors, but for me, because I don't know a lot of faces in the NBA, the fact that I thought that they were actors and not real players tells me everything I need to know about that movie. Really well done. Hustle, number 1.
Okay, and then we'll get into honorable mentions, but I'll give you my top 5. And my
good list, though, no?
Yeah, that's a great list. My number 5 is He Got Game, and I loved Spike Lee's direction in that. Denzel Washington, with Ray Allen, it was excellent film. And
that's the one that I've always heard about, but I've never actually seen, and I've really regretted never seeing it.
Okay, well then I won't tell you the final scene, but all I'll say is they originally wrote it a certain way, and Denzel Washington was like, no, I want to play Ray Allen in basketball, and they're really going at it, and it's awesome. But that's that's what makes it so great. Like it's Spike Lee, you kind of mentioned it before, with choosing between basketball players that can act versus actors that can play basketball. And Spike Lee, why he chose Ray Allen was, I I can teach Ray Allen to act, but I can't teach, somebody to play basketball the level that Ray Allen is. There's no tricks. There's no, like, they're playing, like, he's playing actual basketball because it's Ray Allen. He's
But I heard that Ray Allen just crushed in that movie.
Oh yeah. He's very good in it.
Yeah.
And
then you add Denzel to the mix. I mean, how is that not the number 5 for sure?
Yeah. My number 4, and I actually had this at number 2 and then I dropped it, is Teen Wolf, because that movie is excellent and I love that movie.
So good.
But I actually thought you'd rip me for putting it number 2, so I actually lowered it.
Man, that's my number 2.
But I'm okay with my list. I'm still okay with my list. My number 3, and I'm just shocked that you didn't put it on, Pete, but it's Semi-Pro. Will Ferrell is just so good in this film. I even bought the outfit and I wore that at work. My shorts were way too short, and it was so uncomfortable.
I started watching Semi-Pro a few months ago for the first time, and like I literally got like 30 minutes in and I turned it off, and I was like, as much as I love Will Ferrell, I know there's going to be some sort of a payoff at the end. I couldn't get through it.
Dude, it's just like what I've noticed with Will Ferrell films is, honestly, the first time you watch it, it's probably going to be slightly underwhelming. It's not that good. Like, I didn't even like Anchorman really the first time I watched it. But then when I watched the second time and the third time, like, all the jokes really start marinating to the top. And
no, but yeah, I don't know. Semi-Pro, maybe I'll try.
Dude, there's
again,
so many good jokes. There's so many good little layered jokes in it. And, Will Arnett as the announcer who's like drinking the whole time. I mean, there's just so many great little cameos in it. Woody Harrelson's obviously in it as well. What's his face? Andre 3000 is in it. I mean, it's so good.
Who's better as an announcer, Will Arnett or Jason Bateman in Dodgeball?
Dude, that's like a Hall of Fame battle, but I'm gonna have to go Jason Bateman, because Jason Bateman,
F&A Cotton.
Yeah, it was just so out of like. I mean, one, he's a color versus the other guys, so it's not an apples to apples comparison.
We hadn't really seen Jason Bateman for a while up until.
Well, I don't think he'd really done comedy at that point. I think that was like one of his first comedic roles, so funny. And he's just this like stoner guy like announcing. It was so awesome. But yeah, Semi-Pro is my number 3, and my number 2 is White Men Can't Jump, which, for me, I think growing up, that was always like the number 1 basketball film. Even though I've learned more about the film as I got older, that there was a lot of camera tricks and stuff to make these basketball players good. But Woody Harrelson's a legit basketball player, and
that's a testament to the filmmakers, though. If you don't know
how
to make basketball look good, and
that's Ron Shelton
made it look great.
Ron Shelton is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, like sports movies director of all time. I mean, I believe it's White Men Can't Jump. It's Bull Durham. It's did he do Field of Dreams as well?
I don't know,
but he's known for just crushing those type of films.
It was executed really well. White Men Can't Jump. I think that's why it was so successful. I mean,
yeah, and the movie just wasn't about basketball too. Oh, Tin Cup. He did Tin Cup as well.
Right.
Oh, I didn't know you did Bad Boys too. Oh, that's great.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Blue Chips. He also did Blue Chip, Great White Hype, to name a few. Dark. Okay, so
what's number 1? I'm curious.
Oh yeah. And my number 1 is I'm with you, man. Hustle. I think Hustle came in and just changed the level for sports films, and I mean, we put it on our sports films, both of us. And I think
Hustle crushed, man. It was such a good movie.
And I think the more we watch it, the more it'll continue to climb. I mean,
but there wasn't a lot of hype behind it too. It was like Hustle's coming out. It's about basketball and it's with Adam Sandler. I mean, that's really kind of what we were given. And then you watch it and you're like, oh my God, this is such a great film.
Yeah, that's just the Netflix model. They don't spend a ton of marketing because they don't need to. They already,
That's our job.
Well, yeah, that's our job. And Netflix.
Go and see Hustle.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the best movies ever seen. If you love sports movies, so good.
All right, Pete. Next segment is Yippee-Ki-Yay, or as F, which is a reference to Clueless. So this is basically a yay or nay on upcoming things. So Lord of the Rings, The Power of the Rings. A teaser came out today. A teaser trailer will be coming out Thursday, July 15th, I believe, or 14th. And what is your thoughts on Lord of the Rings, the new
Well,
one?
I mean, you know, I love the Lord of the Rings. I've always loved it, even reading the books as a kid. I was excited about the first three, and then The Hobbit happens, and I sort of questioned how could you turn a 120-page book into three 2+ hour films?
Yeah,
But whatever, I love that world. And so the more, even like the Lord of the Rings extended editions, where they give you like 90 hours of like additional footage and everything, like I soak it all up. I eat it up. Yeah, I mean, Yippee Ki for me. I don't hold a lot of hope out for it, but you know, I'll go see
have you
it.
seen
Sure.
the sneak peek yet or no?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I would say ultimately yay. Interested on how they're going to do it. I know this was a big project, so I have high hopes that
a lot of money,
because
man.
because the money in the production, I feel they're going to make the script work. So I'm a yippee ki on that one as well.
Yeah.
Amsterdam, which is about David O. Russell, right? Is that
Hmm.
who directed them? But a big cast in this one. We saw the trailer for this, I believe, at Thor, right?
At Thor, we saw it
Yeah,
when we were together. We saw Thor together.
that's right.
It was
So
cute.
what? Yeah, what is your thoughts?
That's a yippee ki for me. I mean, anytime you bring that many actors that are really amazing together, and you put it in that sort of period piece,
Yeah,
um, and then like just the trailer itself just showed you so many like potential twists and turns on the story itself. It really made it sort of attractive.
yeah,
So yeah, oh, yippee ki for me.
yeah. Same here. Yippee ki excellent casting. David O. Russell has kind of proven himself as a list director, so he's a good writer. So yeah,
Yep.
expecting big things from that one. The Woman King. This trailer also dropped uh, during Thor. I never heard anything about this. Violet Davis stars in this. What are your thoughts on this one?
What a different role for her. And I almost thought it was a when I first saw like a teaser for it, I almost thought it was like a prequel to like Black Panther or something. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah,
that sort of high energy and set in Africa.
I
And
actually thought it was Black Panther. I thought it was a Black Panther 2
yeah, there was a
teaser.
lot of a lot of empowerment and strength in what I saw. And then when we saw the trailer, um, yeah, it's yippee ki for me. I mean,
Yeah,
it
for sure.
looks action packed. It looks like there's a real message to it, and the acting looks phenomenal. And a lot of people that I've never even heard of before. So I can't wait to see what they do. So
Yeah,
it's yippee ki for me.
yeah. Same here. Yippee ki The music in the trailer too. It was just a really well done trailer
Yeah,
that gets you excited to watch the film. It's a different story. We haven't really. This is based off a true story, and so that's always interesting when you get to kind of learn different parts of history. So I'm excited about that. Again,
me too.
Violet Davis is the top of the line actress, so
I'm
looking forward to it.
excited about the coming weeks. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
we got an action-packed summer coming up. Okay, Strange World, which I believe is an original Disney animation. Don't quote me on the originality part. I'm not sure if it is or not. Disney actually doesn't typically have pure stories that from scratch, but I don't feel like I've ever heard this story, so it's original in my
Yeah.
head. What are your
Well,
thoughts on this one?
I mean, right now I'm as if right now, but Disney always surprises me because I mean, even Disney Pixar, like when you combine those entities, like there's certain stories that when they're presented, you just don't really feel like this really isn't for me. But Disney has a formula for the films that they make, and even though the trailer that I saw for this movie is not it just wasn't very engaging, and it didn't really entice anything inside of me to want to go and see this film. I know that there's a clear theme and a clear message that's going to be presented because it's
Yeah,
a Disney film. um, I'll go see it, but My yippee ki is probably going to be after I've seen the film and I say, "Oh my god, that was amazing! You should go see it
Yeah.
with your kids."
Yeah, I would agree. It's an ugh as if for me, and it's more on like you're saying. I thought the trailer it was a poor trailer, and I don't think it induced any sort of feeling. It was just kind of like this. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, look what we did, but we're not going to tell you
It didn't tell
anything.
you anything.
Yeah, I have no idea what it's about. It's yeah. So mine is just purely not off the animation, not off again. Like I agree with you. The movie's probably a lot better than that trailer, but on a
Right.
marketing standpoint, I thought the trailer was just a poor trailer, and they need. Hopefully, the next trailer is much better that tells the actual story or something.
Exactly.
It doesn't just rely on like look how beautiful our film is, But
Right.
like you're saying, it's Disney animation. Uh, going to be interested to see where it goes. Of course, we're going to see it, so we will see where that goes. And then the next one, Pete, Avatar 2.
Oh man, I could. I This is an ugh as if times 50. Like
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Like I don't. Every time I see the preview and it comes up before every movie that we watch, I gotta watch it, and I just get angry every time I see it. Like I understand, somebody who has so much passion for a project and wants to put so much time into this. And I have a friend who's working on who worked on this film as well. And it's just so much like, why would you do this? Like, why would you keep making this movie if it's going to take that long? What is so important about this film that you had to devote 50 years
yeah. There's supposed to
to
be five of
to
them.
and there's supposed to be five. They've only done two, and it's been
No, they've
30
done three.
years.
They've done three. Three have been shot. But yeah, I'm with you, man.
I don't care. I
I did
don't care.
I didn't even really like the first one because the first one was just like, oh,
It was fine.
it's Fern Gully, it's Dances with Wolves, it's literally just a repackaged story, and I didn't really thought they added a whole lot. I'm not even like that impressed with like the visuals. Like I didn't think the visuals were
No,
like, oh my goodness, this is so amazing. So yeah,
they're underwater this time.
I'm ugh as if on this one as well.
I'm as if I'll go see it because I have to. But
Yeah,
if you think I'm going to get excited about a third one and then 4 and 5 after that, give me
yeah,
a break. You
yeah.
sent me an article that James Cameron is not going to direct future Avatar movies. It's like, thank God. At least they'll get
Well,
done faster.
he's already done three. He said he wants to do number four, but I think they're going to see how it
Right.
goes first, and then
And we
but he's
should
not planning on
see
doing
number
five.
4 in 2055,
Yeah.
possibly.
Okay, and then the last one, Pete, is Day Shift, which is a Netflix film that stars Jamie Foxx and Snoop Dogg, and it's a vampire kind of movie. What are your thoughts on this
Yeah,
one?
I didn't know a lot about this when you sent this over to me, and I was like looking at it. I mean, the thing that intrigues me about this is that the director has been like a stuntman or a coordinator in like a million films that I've seen and is incredible.
Yeah,
So I'm kind of curious about his take. Yeah, and anytime you put Jamie Foxx in a movie, I'm down. I'm totally yippee ki on this.
yeah, same here. I thought this was a good trailer. Looks entertaining, looks fun, looks like a good, you know, one to watch.
JJ Perry is the director.
Okay, but yeah, look. Actually, looking forward to Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg looked kind of good. This was kind of an action role for him, and he looked like he
Yeah.
played the part so far in the trailer. So looking forward to it.
And Snoop's always fun, like even the
And he's been
smaller roles
crushing
that he
it.
does.
Yeah, he's been crushing it in the roasts, and he's got that other show on Peacock, the Cock as they call it. That
Dude,
he's
he's on the
pretty.
cock.
He's on the Cock. His show on the Cock is pretty good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Snoop Dogg. I think he could end up. He has this like new second career kind of happening with his acting. So his acting's much improved from when he first started early
Like
on. So
Starsky and Hutch.
yeah. Yeah,
Although he crushed in Starsky and Hutch. He was funny.
yeah, he was. He's good.
He's always good in Training Day.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then last part, of the podcast here is just the upcoming films. So this is what we'll be reviewing in the coming weeks. So this
Can I
week,
can I just interrupt for 1 second and just give you one piece of latest movie news and notes and just say that
Oh yes,
we lost we lost a legend. We have to say goodbye to a legend. James Caan died at the age of 82. As of this point, as the recording of this broadcast, there's no real cause of death. But I mean, this is a guy that we knew from The Godfather, of course, is Sonny Corleone. But then was amazing in films like Misery, and then just came around in a great family film like Elf. And he was somebody that was always throughout our life and always was a part of cinema, and he's a legend, and he's going to be sorely missed. I mean, we just lost an important person in cinema.
absolutely, and looking forward to hopefully honoring him more when we do the Godfather podcast. And,
Right.
We'll really get into his role there and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's sorely missed, and rest in peace, James Caan. Cheers to you, buddy. Yeah. So moving now on to our upcoming films. So the week of July 15th, we have 3 films that are coming out. The first one is, of course, Pete's big film, Paws of Fury. Make sure you go check that out. We'll obviously be reviewing that one. Pete's already seen it 6,000 times, but
I've seen it a million times.
Yeah, but you're going to see
crushes every time I watch it.
And then the second film that also is coming out is Where the Crawdads Sing, which is a best-selling book that is now a film, and we'll be watching that one. The third one, and this one looks kind of rough just because it's not my genre, but Persuasion, which is on Netflix. But that stars Dakota Johnson, and but that's one of those British films. I don't necessarily do well with those British films, but we will watch it. You're gonna get my commitment on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following week, July 22nd, we have Nope, which is Jordan Peele's new film.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, that one looks exciting. And then on Netflix is The Gray Man, which stars Ryan Gosling amongst others. And
that's going to be the first of many. That's going to be a franchise. Yeah. I can't wait to see this film.
Sure. Who was the director on that one, Pete?
Jesus.
It's that one guy.
For the loop. Damn it.
Oh, it's the guy that did the MCU guys and the Russo brothers.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Russo brothers.
Anna de Armas is in it. Chris Evans, Billy Bob Thornton, Alfred Woodard. Who else is in this?
This movie's gonna crush, man.
Yeah, this should be really, really good. So definitely looking forward to that one. And then the week of July 29th, we have a few films. That's going to be a busy week. We have 13 Lives, which is Ron Howard's new film. I haven't even heard of this film. I mean, I know the story, but haven't heard this film. But it's about the Thailand divers and the rescue of the kids.
My God, Colin Farrell, Vigo, and Joel Edgerton, who always crushes.
Yeah, so that's
my new word, by the way, crushes.
Crushes, yeah. So that looks exciting. You have DC League of Super Pets, which is starring Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart as the boys. Another animation film. Some are full of animation films. Another one, Purple Hearts.
You know why that is? It's because during the pandemic, that was really the only kind of work that you could actually accomplish.
Yeah, for sure. We have Purple Hearts on Netflix. That looked pretty good. And then the last one is Not Okay, which is on Hulu, and that's July 29th as well. And then lastly, the first week of August, August 5th, we have Bullet Train, which is the new Brad Pitt film. We have Guns 3, which is our favorite. We're looking forward to with the third film in the Young Guns franchise. And then Easter Sunday, which is Joe Coy's. I want to say it's his main feature film debut, like the first one that he's leading the charge on.
Tia Carrere's in that, no?
I don't know the full cast, but
I think Tia Carrere's in there.
Yeah.
Come on, Wayne's World.
So Easter Sunday, yeah. So that's what we got upcoming.
Can't wait to review these films and let you guys know all about them.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening and make sure you subscribe and like our podcast. Make sure you share it so we can keep growing. And we'll also be reviewing Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That'll be coming out later this week. And yeah, thanks, Pete.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
And cut. Thanks, guys.
Bye.